cold, snowy, sleet, all the stuff happening. We're under one of those big watches now. Joining us now, buddy Eric Llyod from USS. All right, my man, let's break it down. First and foremost, you guys are going to probably be busy in the next couple of weeks because of chaos. What should people do first to get their house winter-proofed when it comes to all of the things? Because there's a lot of stuff people probably forget.
Yeah, so thanks so much for having me on, Chad. We're just to start us off, man. We're big fans of you guys. Thank you guys for what you do, and thanks for this opportunity to speak today. But biggest thing that we're seeing in crawl spaces is all that cold air. And I'll start with crawl spaces. Crawl space basement homes is really what we're going to be talking about today. But you've got all this cold air that's just pressing up against your home, and especially in crawl space homes, they have these vents all around the perimeter in these block walls, and these vents are letting all of this extremely cold air in, and when that cold air mixes with your hot ducts or your trunk line from your AC or your furnace, it's gonna make that furnace work extra hard. So just by stopping the airflow alone, you're going to help a ton of energy loss, and you're going to save on that energy. So it might be a little too late for you to have us out and do a permanent solution, but some things that maybe you can get out to the store today and take care of. First thing I'll talk about is some temporary vent covers. So during winter, we cover your crawl space vents with a foam insulation to reduce that heat loss and prevent any of that cold air from circulating underneath your home. It's really simple to just swing by Home Depot or Lowe's in the short term to maybe fix something with some zip ties on the outside. You can cut some foam board up. They have that probably still in stock in those stores where you can just stop all that airflow in. Long-term solution is going to be where we would come in and seal that up permanently from the inside. You keep your same aesthetic on the outside, so you don't look at pink foam board from the outside. Another thing that you can do in this short term is insulate those exposed pipes that you may have, the water pipes that are coming into your home. Underneath that crawl space, if you've got a lot of cold air flowing through there, wrap any of those exposed crawl space pipes with some pipe insulation to prevent any freezing and potential bursting. Pay extra attention to areas where pipes are near exterior walls. And anytime you see pipes coming in from the exterior, you can actually seal those air leaks and gaps with a can of spray foam. Not pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty to be sealed, but you can use a spray foam that it comes in a can these days. You can spray that on there. You don't have to go too crazy with it because it'll make it nice and airtight. This is going to reduce that heat loss and drafts and any chance of frozen pipes. And then the crawl space. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Were you
I'm going to ask you. So, talking to Eric Llyod from United Structural Systems, as he's trying to show quick fixes for the big freeze coming. You know, the pipes. Like we always hear about what ends up happening, especially. And I'm sure you guys get called out this. People don't do the right thing with their pipes, and they'll leave a little bit of drip in the water. They do something like that. Next thing you know, their pipes burst. Stuff happens, and I'm sure that's a nightmare for a lot of people. Who it's a simple thing that you can do, and people forget it, and then for you guys, you have to come out and clean it up.
Yeah, that's true. A little drip won't hurt. It might run your water bill up a little bit, but it could very well potentially save you from having to have a burst pipe and have a whole nother mess on your hands. But yeah, just insulating those pipes as best you can, especially where they come in from the exterior, is going to be a huge help. Another place that water or that cold air comes in is through that crawl space door. If your home was like mine, if your crawl space home is like mine and you had one of those just standard black aluminum doors, that's not really airtight. There's a lot of cold air that can go into that door. And so sealing off that crawl space door, making sure that it's properly sealed from drafts, it's going to also prevent any moisture intrusion. And a wet crawl space can actually lead to a cold crawl space. So inspect for leaks and water damage. You're going to look for damp spots, mold growth, standing water in your crawl space. And this is something that we do before the cold weather hits, and it's something that's helpful after the cold weather's gone. You got all this moisture coming in. Snow melt and condensation can cause some major winter damage. So it may be necessary after the fact, and I hope this doesn't happen to you, but it may be necessary after the fact to install an interior drain system to get any water out that may be stacking into your crawl space. And installing or maintaining a heavy-duty vapor barrier. And we use a very thick liner in our encapsulations to go cover the entire crawl space soil area. And if you got a basement, if you see water in that basement, a dry basement and a dry crawl space is going to be a warmer space. So ensure that vapor barrier is going to extend up your entire foundation walls. When we go in the crawl space, we wrap those columns. So sealing up the walls with a perimeter with that encapsulation material is going to be great.
Somebody just asked us something. They said for dripping faucet, ask really quick, dripping on the outside faucet, inside faucet, what's the best way to try to make sure that those pipes don't freeze up and, become that nightmare that we all talk about?
That exterior faucet, yeah, you're gonna find some of those faucet covers for the exterior. They're really simple to install. You just put a little rubber tie off on it and cinch it up. That'll help a lot. Make sure that is nice and tight up against the brick on your exterior. Interior water lines are the only things you really need to run. I wouldn't run your exterior water. That's just going to turn into an icicle and be bad for water getting into your crawl space. So, but yeah. One thing I was going to mention are those condensation pumps that if you have a furnace that is, or an AC, you have your furnace that sits in your crawl space or basement, make sure you check those condensation pumps, because those HVAC condensation pumps in your crawl space, if it's full and it's not functioning right, it can lead to a mess down there as well. So let's see. Another thing too is this when we seal up the crawl space, which is what we do, 12 months out of the year, we don't want to leave just the vapor barrier and the sealed up vents and the new door by itself. We always recommend installing a dehumidification system, a dehumidifier that comes in multiple sizes that we have, and what that does is it reduces that energy loss by keeping your humidity and the moisture that can be trapped in your crawl space at a very constant and healthy level year round.
Talking to Eric Llyod from United Structural Systems. He's trying to help you guys weatherproof your house. If you give people like one advice, would be the thing that you're going to see that is, when you guys go out and there's going to be issues, what's the one thing that people can do right now that is kind of universal looking, if they only could do one thing to protect their home, what would it be?
If you're going to do one thing, I would say close those vents, those crawl space vents that you have, or if you notice any air gaps in your windows, like egress windows and basements, find some weather stripping and seal that up. Or if you can temporarily close those vents, make sure that cold air is staying outside of your home instead of coming in there.
Right on, man. Appreciate you coming on. And hopefully we know you're going to be busy, so be safe out there and take it slow. Eric Llyod, USS. Thanks so much, man.